And these power lines are technologically so advanced because, for instance, if you know, there was a storm a couple of years, 10 years ago in Canada. I don't remember which large city, and it destroyed all the transport lines of electricity. And these are quite large areas, for instance, for Europe, from Sahara to Europe to transport energy. There is the technology already existing that could provide this, as you say.
Well, this is a question of risk assessment. Also for Canada, you could build these power lines that would be, say, 4 times as strong. It is then just a bigger investment. So this is an assessment. If you risk a failure once every 5 or 10 or 50 years, but it is not intrinsically a limitation. Also, one could put those power lines underground. Then they would not be affected by weather events. So in Canada, it was not only storm; it was also ice. So it was they were frozen and they carried a lot of ice. Then these power lines, and that made them heavy and bigger. And then the wind had more area to work on the power lines, and then it got breakdowns. Also, it can be fixed rather quickly in most cases, such failures, maybe within a day or so. So it would not necessarily be a real disaster, but it would be quite an inconvenience, definitely. But these are marginal cases. Most people, they live in regions where it is rather hot and where you don't have these ice storms. So this would only be a problem for a small fraction, and as I said before, one could reinforce these power lines, one could build them stronger so that they would be able to withstand such storms.
You've also you have this Euro super grid, as it's called, this energy backup in case something goes wrong. Could you describe some of the infrastructure for a sustainable supply of power by geothermal plants? I know in Germany you already have a few, and solar plants also in Europe, and the wind powers.
All systems that we are having now are designed, so all power supply systems are designed in such a way that at any instant, any source, so any power plant can go off grid, can have a failure, a shutdown, for technical reasons, without a collapse propagation throughout the grid. Sometimes it happened anyway for other reasons, and so one is learning how to improve the grids. So I think one can build enough redundancy so that if a power plant goes off, you have others which are which are not used with full capacity and which could be raising their power generation. You will have, and we do have everywhere, a surplus of transmission lines, so that if one transmission line is intermitted, the electricity can go through other lines. And this has to be part of the design of such a system. And this is a standard procedure. This problem we have now, this problem will not be new by going to solar thermal power plants in the deserts. And one should not forget that solar thermal power plants are as power plants are their own backup plants. So if the sun would not shine unexpectedly long, say that would be a week of rain, then the steam could be generated from a fossil fuel. So you would have a reserve of fossil fuel, maybe coal, maybe oil, or also some biomass, at each power plant. And in case there is a breakdown of solar radiation for some more than a few days, then you would turn on the fossil steam generators and drive the same power plant. So you would be using the same power plant and you would be using the same grid. You do not need power plants somewhere else to jump in. So you do not need extra power plants as in a standby mode. You just need a fossil fuel steam generator in a standby mode at that same power